Hi, I'm back with my very own book tag, the Portraits book tag. It's based off the album Portraits by Greyson Change, who is on my shirt. And I thought, you know what? I want everyone I know to listen to this album, and I like talking about books, so why not put them together into one beautiful book tag? So I listened, there's 12 songs on the album. I listened to the 12 songs, and I came up with questions that kind of related to my mood while listening to them. So maybe if you listen to the songs, you might not think, oh, this song's about first love, or oh, this one's about the bad boy of my dreams. But that's what the questions are. If you do this, please comment down below, because I would love to see your videos if you do this tag. I had a lot of fun. I tried to kind of mix the books up for ones that I haven't read before, because I felt like a lot of the ones I chose I talk about a lot. There's a hair tie in my book. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, let's get started. This is the Portraits book tag. Okay, so the first song on the album is Shut Up, which makes me think about first love every time I listen to that song. It just, God, this album, I love it. Anyways, so the book I picked about first love is definitely not After. The actual book I picked was The Raven Boys, or just the whole series, really. This series is not only about first romantic love, it's also about, like, the first friendship, like, the first real, deep connection you have with people, and it always makes me think of the first person I ever loved. Who's probably watching this, so hi. So yeah, I tried to pick a different book because I feel like it's a basic book to talk about the Raven cycle. Like, it's not, you know, an unknown series, but I could not think of anything else that gives me that feeling in my chest when I read about how Blue loves her Raven boys. And okay, so for Bleed You Still, this one was really hard for me to come up with. I came up with a book that gave you an unexpected hangover, like book hangover, because it just kind of, you know, you bleed it still. It's carrying on longer than you thought it would. You're still hung up on this book, and that is The Book Jumper. I bought this book because it sounded cool. It's about a girl named Amy who can jump into books. And that would be very fun. And, did I expect my favorite character to die? No! Did I expect spoiler? No! This is one of my favorite books. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of cheesy. It's translated from German, so the writing is kind of simple, but wow. This book just held on to it for too long. I read it once, like, finished it, and then read it again pretty soon after, and then had to, like, force myself not to do it again. So, The Book Jumper. I'll be back to you one day. So for yours, I picked a book that you always go back to, no matter what. Like, this is your ride or die, and if you know me, you know that is Seekers by Erin Hunter. Not just this book, all 6. I don't really know how I feel about the second series, because that was a big disappointment. But anyways, Seekers, as you can tell from how this copy looks, I go back to this book at least once a year or twice. These books I have read numerous times over the past decade. It's been a decade since I got these books. This book, I've owned it for a decade. That's kind of crazy to think. It is taped up and falling apart. But yeah, I always go back to these books. They are, I want to say what kind of really got me into reading. Like, I already enjoyed it, but these books just took it to a whole nother level, and I cannot suggest them enough. I know they're middle grade, and I know that people in the book community have this weird thing where they're like, middle grade sucks, but wow. This series is about bears who go to save the wild, and book 2 teaches us that racism is bad. So, they're not just dumb little kid books, is what I'm trying to say. They're also very violent, and my favorite character dies in book 6, and oh my god, did I cry. Do I cry? I still cry every time I see his name. Anyways, yeah, so Seekers by Aaron Hunter is the book I always go back to.
This is for all the people who have fucked me over.
So, for Planes, which is his first of 2 spoken, like, short little snippets to lead into a song, I picked A Book That Disappointed You, because he talks about how he disappointed his mother by swearing. And that was Seafire. Yeah. I have a review for this that's either out or coming out, depending on what order I post things. It's an hour long, almost. I think it's like 57 minutes. I buddy read this with a friend. Thank God, because I thought I forgot how to read, but no, we both agreed that things just weren't explained properly. I really thought I would like it, because I was really into pirates for a hot minute, and it's about pirates. Girl pirates, which is part of the problem, but you'll see that in my review, which I will put in the little icon and down in the description when it is out, or if it's already out. If not, it will be out next week. If not, when this one's out. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, this book just didn't explain the world properly. I didn't get connected to any of the characters. Our main character is like one of those girls who, oh, you can't, like, I'm a strong female character, so I can't show any emotions until that one pivotal moment in the book where I can show them. And then I'm not legally allowed to do it ever again. Until my breakdown that comes a little bit later. There was like an insta-love that didn't make any sense. There was a girl who's like, how old is she? I don't know. What the fuck is self-healing glass? Please tell me, God. I'm asking, I pray every night, what is self-healing glass? He never answers because he doesn't know either. And that's my short preview of what the review will be. Or has been, depending on when I post it.
You told me forever was a word that I should not fear.
Is it one of my videos if I don't forget to say something? No. So, for West Texas, the question is a book about growing up, and I forgot to say that because I filmed it a couple of times and thought I already had. So, the question is a book about growing up. Thank you. So, for West Texas, I picked Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which, as you can tell, is one of my favorite books. These are all things I enjoy. In the afterbook, those are things I don't like and I'm going to talk about. These are things I enjoy but don't know how to talk about because I don't know how to talk about this book that well. This book, I've had it for a few years. It's just kind of grown with me, so to speak. At one point in my life, I related to I've related to different parts in the book, and I still find it very relatable. In this book, Ari goes from being like kind of a confused teen to understanding himself. So it's about like his growth, not necessarily like, oh, I'm a small child to, oh, I'm an adult man now. It's like it's the character growth that I enjoy in this book and relate to very well. Please read this book if you haven't. It's very enjoyable. Makes me cry too. So it could have fit into a few things on this list, I'll be honest, but I thought this is the best place for it because it's my favorite, like, kind of growth book.
Be gentle with me when you tell me that you need to go.
I hate that when I film, this always seems to happen. Anyways, so for White Roses, I picked a book that makes you cry, and A Very Large Expanse of Sea makes me cry. Oh boy, does it ever make me cry. This book, I don't know what it is. Like, the love story in this book just fills me with so much emotion that I can't help but sob every time I read it. This book, it's beautiful. The writing is beautiful. The characters are beautiful. I can feel the love between Shirin and Ocean. And I'm very picky with romance in books. Like, I will tear it apart. But this one just felt too close to home. It made me, like, it just made my heart swell. And when my heart does that, my eyes cry. It's just my emotions. So yeah, I also highly suggest this one. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places. But please, if you have not read this book, it is beautiful, and I would love for more people to read it.
It's the best strip club in Vegas.
So Lights is another spoken word thing that leads into the next song, and I thought, okay, this one is about Greyson asking some lady what the best strip club in Vegas is. So what's the best book question is, what is the sexiest, kinkiest, steamiest book you've read? And unlike that weird girl who suggested a bunch of young adult books that weren't about sex at all, I'm saying please make your books actually relate to the question. Don't tell me Arian Dante made you horny, because I know it didn't, and you need to go to therapy. Anyways, I picked Animal Attraction. I will be reviewing this book soon. I actually haven't finished this book. I don't really know how many chapters I had left, but at some point my brain clicked off. I got to chapter 21, which leaves this much of the book. But one day I will finish it and review it for you guys, because my friend bought it for me to read, annotate, and review. It was my birthday, Christmas present? One of the two. I'm getting to it. It just fried my brain. It's about a girl who finds out she's a werewolf queen or something, and now she has to have sex with 11 guys to pick a mate, basically. That's the book. So it's literally just like she's banging some dudes, and they're werewolves, but they're all in like people form while they're banging. So yeah, that's all I can really say about it, because I want to do a full review, maybe like a vlog, to vlog my reaction. Also, I will say that the main guy that she's kind of into is named David, and that is like the least sexy werewolf name there is. So maybe this isn't the sexiest book I've read, because come on, David? Okay, so it's no lie that Black on Black is like the sex song of this album, and it's no lie that I already answered the question about the sexiest, kinkiest, steamiest book. So I thought, what is the next best thing? And then my brain clicked, and I thought, bad boy love interests. So the question is, who is the bad boy love interest of your dreams? And I don't feel like I could say Ace Pike from the Like Magic series, which I wrote with my best friend Will. It's in the description and that little eye icon and on my profile if you want to watch us read it. Yes, I am shouting it out because we worked really hard on that. It was about 2 years in the making. So please check out Like Magic. Ace Pike is like the classic bad boy. But I also think I can't pick Ace Pike because I created him, so I know how much of a bad boy he is. So I thought I would just take a quiz to see who my bookish bad boy love interest is. And I haven't taken this quiz yet, but we're going to take it together right now. Okay, I'll put this in the description as well. So what you look for in a significant other: kindness, intelligence, bravery, worldliness, wit, sensitivity. None of these are really like, oh, he's an asshole, he doesn't care about my emotions. So I'm going to go bravery. Pick what your guy would wear. What the fuck is that? Sorry, I heard a squeak. So there's a green hoodie, a tank top that says 263, a black shirt, a leather jacket, a white kind of long sleeve shirt, and a white long sleeve dress shirt. I think a leather jacket. What were you like in high school? I was usually dating someone, I was the rebel, I was kind of a loner, I had good grades and great friends, I was popular, I had a few friends who helped me but put me out of my shell. Since I'm supposed to be the love interest to the bad boy love interest, I was kind of a loner. Pick a quote. Jesus Christ. I lie to myself all the time, but I never believe me. S.E. Hinton. What makes the desert beautiful is that somewhere it hides a well. Antoine, and I can't read names. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlining, says Shakespeare. Under love's heavy burden do I sink, Shakespeare. That one sounds pretty bad boy love interesty. So we beat on, boats against the current. I can't read. Borne back carelessly into the past. There is not love of life without despair about life. We're gonna do the Shakespeare under love's heavy burden do I sink, because since I'm dating a bad boy love interest, I'm always like under the burden of how hard it is to love him because he's an asshole. And doesn't respect me at all. I could have just said Hardin Scott. Realistically, what other bad boy do I know besides Hardin Scott and Ace Pike? None. But you know what? I would rather die than say Hardin Scott. So we're gonna continue. You and your boyfriend are being followed by someone who wishes you harm. Okay. He immediately pulls out a weapon of some kind, grabs your hand and runs the other way, shields your body with his, throws one punch at the guy and knocks him out, offers the attacker everything he has, tries to reason. Obviously he punches him out. What kind of bad boy am I dating? Where would you want to live? It had, the first picture is what I assume is a New York kind of apartment. If you've seen you know the girl's apartment? It kind of looks like that, but like 2 stories, and there's stairs going up, then a door. Then there's a castle, a beachfront property, a cottage that looks like a farm cottage, a cottage in the middle of the forest that's actually on a book cover for a book called 3 Truths and a Lie. I recognize it. And then an apartment. With my BBLI, obviously he lives in a beachfront property. Does your guy usually handle jealousy? Ooh, this is good for bad boy love interests. Not well at all. He doesn't really get jealous. That's not true for a BBLI. It kills him inside, but outwardly he is kind. He is so happy to be with me. He is okay with everything. He has bigger things to worry about. He makes a sarcastic comment, but is confident. No, he does not take it well at all. Choose a classic. The Hobbit, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Catcher in the Rye, Wuthering Heights, Catch-22, and 1984. I feel like I don't know any of these books. I know The Hobbit and To Kill a Mockingbird. I've read those 2. There's no BBLIs in them, so I'm gonna go with Catcher in the Rye, because I feel like that one's about a teenager, I've heard. So maybe he's a bad boy love interest. What was your favorite class in high school? English, because I'm a bookish girl. Haha! So, my bad boy love interest is Tobias Eaton, aka 4 from Divergent, who I was actually considering saying because he's the only one I could think of at the time, besides Ace Pike, of course. So, looks like I did this for nothing. I could have just done that. Maybe that question, if you can't think of your own bad boy love interest, just do the quiz I did. I'll link it so you can do it.
In the middle of my street, I'm needing some clarity.
So, for Seasons 19, good God, the sun is out. For Seasons 19, I picked, the question I did is a book that helped you know yourself, and for that I picked All the Bright Places. This is, again, one of my favorite books. I've read it a bunch of times. I've never really read a book that gets me as much as this one does, and I don't really want to go into that too deeply because, like, I'm a private person, in this kind of sense. But the characters in this book are 2 of the characters I relate to the most. I also considered Arian Dante for this one, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but I think right now, currently, All the Bright Places is the one that's kind of higher on my list for relatability, and it helped me, like, I saw myself in the characters a lot more than I have other characters, so this one.
And if you forget, the memories fade, I'll be your timekeeper.
So, for Timekeeper, I said a book you wanted to like but didn't work out. And I don't have the book here because I annotated it and lent it to a friend to do kind of an annotating circle thing. I don't know why I explain things that don't need explaining, so I made my own cover for it. And unfortunately, that was the Bromance Book Club. It has such a cool premise. A bunch of guys have a book club where they read romance books to become better boyfriends. Like, that sounds fun. But unfortunately, it was very disappointing. Also, you can't really read the heart, but it says, will Gavin ever give his wife an orgasm again? Read to find out. Because that was the plot. So this book, it had likable characters. I just didn't care for the main characters. Anyways, so yeah, this book, unfortunately, and it's really popular, but unfortunately, I just didn't connect with the characters. I liked that Gavin had a stutter. I don't know, some of the scenes. Like, there are some scenes where it was like, okay, this is fun, but he's also kind of, like, forcing his wife to hang out with him again, forcing her to let him stay home, and then, you know how there's always the third act breakup? Like, that kind of starts because she finds out that he's been reading romance books to be a better husband. That's the big drama. So, yeah, I didn't vibe with it, if you so to say. So, Stand is my favorite song on this album, probably of, like, 2019, 2020. Okay, really, my favorite song of 2020 is the Dinosaurs in Love song, but, like, we don't need to think about that sad song right now. Stand is one of my favorite songs of all time. Like, it holds such a high thing in my heart. I love the live version. I wish I had, like, the live version. I wish Greyson would release Stand live, because, oh, there's a slight difference in a certain part that just gives me the feels. Anyways, I'm talking too much about the song. So for Stand, I picked a book about healing, because that's kind of how the song is for me. That's, like, the feeling it gives me. It's a very hopeful, there's a hopeful part in it that I love, and it just kind of, like, the emotions, I relate to the emotions, and I'm still just talking about the song. The book I picked is Some Kind of Happiness, You Can't See the Crown. This book, to me, is definitely about healing. It's about a girl, her name is Finley. She's dealing with depression. Her parents might be getting divorced. While they kind of deal with that, they send her to live with her grandma for the summer. The summer. And there's, like, problems with her grandma, like, problems in the family who she's now meeting. And it's all kind of very new and scary for her. And, it's about her, like, coming to terms with her depression, kind of moving on and healing from that. Her parents are, like, moving on and healing from their problems. Her grandma has some stuff that she's healing from. The family has to heal from this thing in their past. There's a lot of healing in this book. It is middle grade for you picky people, but it's worth it. The author captures the emotions beautifully. I love it. Some books this is like, it reminds me a lot of The Bridge to Terabithia meets We Were Liars, which I know was popular a few years ago, but those two books in one is this, and it's beautiful. So, yeah, this book for my favorite song. Also in Stand, Greyson sings about drinking gin and tonics, and the one time I had a gin and tonic, I thought I was drinking a tree, and it had trees on the cover, so there's that as well. Okay, so for my final song, which is Lakeshore, I picked A Book You Didn't Want to End, because the song is about not wanting to go home, and I thought, well, that's the lyric that I was inspired by. And I picked The Sirens of Titan, Call Me a Basic Bitch, because this is also one of my favorite books. Really shot up to being my favorite book very fast, I'm gonna be honest. And if you're someone I know in real life, you have heard me beg you to read this. Anyways, so I really didn't want this book to end, because at first I was a bit iffy going in, because sometimes older books I get very confused, and I was worried that would happen with this one, but it didn't. And once I got into it, I just read, and I really wish there was more to the story, because I love the characters, I love the different plot points, like the different places they go. I love the adventure. And then it ended and I cried because it was a sad ending and I didn't want it to end because it was sad. But yeah, so I really love this book. It has a special place in my heart. if I had to pick a book that kind of gives me the same emotions as this album, it would be The Sirens of Titan. And I don't really have an explanation as to why, but I don't know. This book is just very important to me, and I'm very happy that it is in my life. You know who you are, person that gave it to me, so thank you. It's had such an impact, so have you, but you know. Anyways, that's my book. So that is my portraits book tag. If you want to do it yourself, all of the questions and the link to that quiz are in the description below. And before we leave, I'm going to say one more time, if you want to know who Ace Pike is, and Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire, Paige Mackenzie Braden, that's also in the description. The playlist for Like Magic, which my friend Will and I worked very hard on. And yeah, it exists. We wrote a book. We wrote a book together, and it's out there for you to listen to. My volume is a bit weird because we were screen recording a Zoom call, and it's like, you know, you're recording a video and the volume just kind of echoes, so I apologize for that. But besides that, we put a lot of hard work into this, and it would mean a lot if you guys watched it and maybe shared it with people who you think would be interested in it. And that's officially all. I hope that if you watch this, you listen to Greyson Chance's portrait album if you haven't. And I hope you do this video, like, the tag, what am I trying to say? I hope you yourself do the tag, because I would love to see people doing something I created, I guess. I just think it would be fun. So if you do the video, comment it down below. I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'll see you next time.